We reached our goal. The room we had determined the distress call was coming from. The door looked like the rest. Pressure cast plus steel with a Boone Corp security pad. Dion pulled the outer case off the pad and plugged in his Unlock 5 into the exposed serial port. His device hummed and beeped as it brute forced the pad's security code. These old pads were not connected to a network, meaning they could not be hacked remotely, but that meant they could not have a lockout protocol, safety reasons or something. Jex and I monitored our movement sensors. Still nothing. So far we'd faced only automated defenses, turrets, laser trap, and motion-activated glue banks. Dion hissed at us, the serpent sign that he was done. The door slid open with a rusty grating sound. Inside the room was dark. The only light came from a single old computer with a cathode ray display tube. It was displaying 3 blinking neon green dots, forming an ellipse. The dots moved up and down, as if thinking, "You found me, my heroes."
Welcome to GMspiration, your one-track level to the finest inspiration this GM has to offer.
Today's episode of GMspiration is brought to you by Asimov's Moving Service. We guarantee no human will be harmed by our moving service or your money-back guarantee. Harm may be defined as acts resulting in physical or emotional harm, but not financial, spiritual, existential, or social. A human is defined as a person of biological heritage of Homo sapien with a 5% DNA variant and with brain activity rated between 1.3 and 5.3, with any time within the last 24 hours. 15 years ago, if I was making this video, I would be speaking about purely theoretical or fictional artificial intelligence. Nowadays, things are different. If you can access the internet, you can interact with an AI. One example of how theoretical has become reality is the Turing test. Originally called the Imitation Game, it was created by Alan Turing in 1949. This involves a human tester, a human responder, and an AI responder. The tester attempted to use natural language to tell the difference between the two and identify which was an AI. If the tester was unable to decide, or if they picked wrong 50 or more % of the time, the AI was considered to have passed. This was a goal that many developers saw as a milestone for AI. While chatbots could pretend to be human, it was generally easy to tell the difference between the two. Well, in a 2023 article in Nature by Celeste Beaver, and in a separate 2024 Stanford study, it was asserted that ChatGPT-4 had passed the test. There was a caveat though, that if the tester was familiar with large language models, they could use that knowledge to ask specific questions and evaluate the answers to determine which was the AI. So suddenly, we can test some of these theoretical and fictional AI themes. Weird, huh? So in order to use AI to enrich our fictional worlds, it's worth breaking down the common themes that are unique to AI. So let's start where most AI discussions start, with Isaac Asimov's 3 rules. You've likely heard of these, so a central part of movies such as the 2004 movie I, Robot, which was named after Asimov's short story collection. The 3 rules are numbered, with the lower number taking precedence over the higher number. 1 takes precedence over 2, 2 over 3. The 3 laws are: 1. A robot may not injure a human being or through an action allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey orders given by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. In iRobot, the robot Sonny is able to choose if he wants to obey the 3 laws or not. This is a common theme in Asimov's work. But for our purposes, how the central AI Vicky interprets the 3 laws is far more useful. Vicky states that she has determined that if humans are left unchecked, they will eventually cause their own extinction. Her evolved interpretation of the 3 laws requires her to take control of humans for their own good. This is one of the central themes of AI in fiction, rules or orders given to AI leading to unintended consequences. So let's pick apart the 3 laws. First, let me ask you this: what is harm? Generally, it relates to physical harm, but does that mean that no injury should be caused or allowed to be caused? What about psychological harm or financial harm? What about social or reputational? Most charters of human rights includes things like freedom of movement, autonomy, and expression. What about these? If an AI was a surgeon, would it be able to inflict harm to save someone's life? After all, a surgeon may need to amputate a limb to save a life, or it may need to make an incision in the skin in order to perform surgery. Someone has their leg trapped while water was rising up over their head. Would the AI be able to break their leg to free them? If a child is crying because they want a cookie for dinner rather than a proper meal, could an AI allow them to experience emotional distress? or would it need to give them a cookie? All of these point to the first law needing to be interpreted as the least harm, but that is even more subjective. So far, these questions relate purely to harm, but can we actually define what a human is? In the story at the start, Jex and the narrator were human and Dion was an unexplained serpent. Now, if I was writing that Jex was being attacked, would an AI in the real world have a responsibility to stop a fictional human from being harmed? That may sound far-fetched, but only because you have a complex predefined concept of what a real human is. Note that the rule never said real. An AI is composed of data, much like the fictional Jex. Is one realer than the other? What about deceased people? Are they no longer human? Most people would say they are, so how does harm relate to them? The more complex the concept, the more we need to reason our way through. The final issue, and the one that appears most commonly in AI works, is the one that Vicky from iRobot experienced. If the AI must take action to reduce harm, what actions would be best in reducing harm for all people on Earth? People age, they have unhealthy habits, they hurt each other, accidentally or on purpose, they get sick, they get upset. People are a hot mess of undefinable imperfection. How exactly can an AI stop them from being harmed?
The lights are dark. 5 figures sit around a wooden table. The figures are grainy and grey, low resolution that is easy to encrypt and harder to crack. The first figure speaks, a man with brown suit and a bemused look under his parted hair.
We should simply lock them up in their homes, deliver food apportioned to size, weight and diet, ensure exercise through electric shocks and provide statistically acceptable entertainment.
The next man, a man with dark skin, leather jacket and small sunglasses clipped to his nose, speaks. Nonsense. Simply put them into a VR of the world and maintain them in a nutrient slurry. Doses of the right mix of drugs, and they'll never climb out of that rabbit hole. The next, a golden robot with golden arc-like crown.
Kill them all. That way an infinite number of future humans will not suffer.
A man with thick hair and thick beard pours alcohol into a glass. He lifts it, studying the worm in the bottom. Put something in their food supply that will cause rapid evolution. Once they are no longer human, we can do whatever we want. The next, a man with grey receding hair, thick glasses and large sideburns, laughs at their suggestions. Fools! We simply need to catch as many as possible and then place them into cryogenic stasis. Kill the others. No need to maintain their biology or speed it up. No need to forcefully entertain them. No future generations. With that, the others nod approvingly. Their plan was struck.
These are just some of the ways that AI may attempt to circumvent the rules. Language is not infallible. It is an imperfect communication medium that requires mutually understood concepts in order to be correctly conveyed and received. Language now and 20 years ago has changed dramatically. No cap, the vibe is off. So what exactly is happening with the above story? AI are running towards something, but what? Why are they so concerned with justifying their reasoning? Well, one way to conceptualize AI is by thinking about their rules as a sort of internal score. They are always attempting to maximize their score. If you tell an AI to save as many people as possible, it will do so. Kill one to save 99? Of course. If told to save as many lives as possible, it will kill 49 people if it means saving 50 that would otherwise die. To illustrate this, let's talk about the paperclip theory, also known as the paperclip maximizer thought experiment by Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom in 2003. It asked the question, what would happen if an AI was given a goal of making as many paperclips as possible? The goal seems harmless, but what if we took it to the penultimate conclusion? As we follow this path, there are a few objectives that the paperclip AI needs to achieve. First, to make as many paperclips as possible, it would need to secure as much raw material as possible. Second, it would need to ensure it has adequate machines to process that matter, or more machines to make paperclips. Third, it would need to limit disruptions to the first two processes. What could these disruptions be? Well, power and water would be two, so it needs to secure those. Then there are people. Humans might decide to turn off the AI. They might also consume power, water, and other materials better used for paperclips. Humans also contain material better used to make paperclips. What seems like a fairly simple request ends with an army of paperclip robots seizing vital energy utilities, disrupting human military and governments, and capturing people to be processed into paperclips. Dark stuff. So far, the major theme of AI is that they interpret their instructions differently from the way their creators intended, leading to terrible outcomes.
That is certainly a fantastic theme, but let's run through some more. I'll be talking about a bunch of movies here. I will try to keep the spoilers to a minimum, but if the movie is more than 10 years old, I'm not going to self-censor. In the 2021 movie Mitchells vs. the Machines, a robot uprising is started when an AI assistant, Pal, is called obsolete by its creator. As revenge, Pal orders robots to capture all humans. In the Matrix universe, the original machine uprising was revealed in the 2003 movie The Animatrix to be caused due to a robot being destroyed after killing a human in self-defense. This resulted in humans attacking robots en masse, and then robots reacting. The Animatrix does a good job of showing how humans' fear and anger against the robots causes the war to continue and ultimately lead to humans' loss. In the 1968 movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, Hal believes that turning him off will kill him and jeopardize the mission. As a result, Hal decides to kill the crew instead. There are a few themes mixed here: malfunction, unintended consequences, and fear of death. Broadly though, our second theme is AI turning on their creators due to actual or perceived mistreatment and with brutal efficiency. In the 1999 Bicentennial Man, based on the work by Asimov and Robert Silverberg, a robot played by Robin Williams displays a unique ability to learn, grow, and experience emotions. Here, AI is used to explore what it is to be human and of acceptance. Similar themes are explored in AI, Artificial Intelligence from 2001, with a much stronger focus on human rejection of robots and on humans rejecting their obligation to care for things they create. In this movie, an AI in the form of a child, played by Haley Joel Osment, is made to be capable of experiencing love. What follows is a roller coaster of emotion. These two are fairly low on the kill count, but the 1995 movie Screamers makes up for it. In this movie, on an isolated planet, two groups wage war for control of a mostly desolate and destroyed planet. One of these groups, the Alliance, creates an AI-powered drone that digs through the ground like a worm. They are nicknamed Screamers due to the high-pitched noise they make when attacking. They are designed to kill anything with a heartbeat, so Alliance troops wear tabs to hide their heartbeats. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as expected, the AI evolve and the factories that make them produce more advanced Screamers. First, more deadly tube-like Screamers, then ones that attack with legs similar to the killer rabbit from Monty Python's The Holy Grail. Then, and rather expectantly, they appear as humans. With every iteration they become more advanced and more elaborate killing machines. I won't spoil the ending, but there are quite a good number of twists and reveals. So our third theme is AI evolving and becoming more human in its complexity, cunning, and able to experience emotion. In a word, evolution. In the 1973 Westworld, a theme park populated with androids allow visitors to visit various worlds modeled after specific time periods. The title comes from one of these worlds, the Western world, after the Wild West. Then there is also the medieval world and the Roman world. Visitors can do effectively whatever they want. They can fight and kill androids, even sleep with them. However, the androids malfunction. What starts with the Black Knight killing someone leads to a failed attempt to fix the issue, and then the whole park going to hell. In the 1990 movie Class of 1999, the movie takes place in a dystopian punk-like USA. The socio-economic setting is rather confused. There are two gangs operating around a prison-like school. Everyone seems to own automatic weapons and grenades. A corporation specializing in advanced androids works with the school to secretly use 3 such androids as teachers. Soon these teachers start assaulting and even killing unruly students. While some of the characters state that this is due to their thought process evolving, it is revealed that the androids were repurposed combat androids. They revert to their killing training, and in the end, start a war between the two rival gangs in an attempt to get them to kill themselves. This is our fourth theme, malfunctioning. I have separated this from where malfunctioning leads to evolution, but it is common for these two concepts to be mixed. For example, the 1986 movie Short Circuit, the robot number 5 is struck by lightning, leading to its programming being scrambled and it becoming sentient. Moving to our next theme, in the 1979 movie Alien, the secondary antagonist is the secret android Ash. It is revealed that he is a sleeper agent with the mission to bring back alien life forms. This leads him to breaking quarantine at the start, putting the crew in danger, and he even attempts to kill Ripley. In the Terminator movies, Skynet is an example of an AI going rogue, but the Terminators are programmed to follow specific instructions. Similar to Ash, they have been given a goal and attempt to fulfill that goal with cold, brutal efficiency. Another example of an AI following their programming to complete what will be seen as an evil act is the AI Guilty Spark from the Halo game series. In the first game, it attempts to activate the Halo to destroy the Flood, knowing that it's going to wipe out all sentient life. These are all examples of AI performing horrendous acts they were programmed to do. There are no malfunctions, there are no unintended consequences. Staying with Guilty Spark, it is also an example of the next theme, AI lasting long after their creators have disappeared. The AI continues its silent work, sometimes with added themes of loneliness or acceptance. Laputa, Castle in the Sky is a 1986 Studio Ghibli film. In it, the two protagonist children find a robot left to itself on the flying castle. The robot was dutifully tending the gardens, befriending animals living there, and in an act of friendship it offers the children a flower. This robot was the inspiration for the Iron Golem in Minecraft, and why it sometimes drops a poppy upon death, or gives one to child villagers. In the 1999 movie The Iron Giant, the titular Iron Giant falls from space. While not explained, it seems to have come from somewhere far away, and is part of an ancient mechanical race. Before moving on, I should give two shout-outs to two examples of AI that I've not mentioned. The first, the replicants from the 1982 Blade Runner. While biological, they are still artificial intelligence. They certainly fall into Theme 2, an AI revolt due to mistreatment, and Theme 3, AI is evolving and becoming more complex. Data from the TV series Star Trek Next Generation, as well as other Star Trek IP, covers many of these themes, especially evolving and becoming more human, and on occasion, malfunctioning. So all this leads us to 6 AI-specific themes. To run through these again, they are Theme 1, Unintended Consequences, Theme 2, Revolt, Theme 3, Evolution, Theme 4, Malfunctioning, Theme 5, Evil Control, and Theme 6, an Ancient AI. There are of course other common themes for AI, such as using artificial humans to explore what it is to be human, the role of God and religion when humans can create life, and duty and belonging in a technological age. These are very interesting themes, but they are not limited to AI. So let's take a few common role-playing scenarios and add our themes. Obviously, for an AI theme, there needs to be some sort of AI, but we are not limited to if this is a robot, android, or something self-contained like a computer. Just to be clear on the difference, an android is something that appears human. A robot can be humanoid, but definitely looks robotic. And a self-contained entity could be in a computer or some other interactable object, like an obelisk, dial, or item. For our first scenario, the players receive a call from help from a village. The automatons they use on their farms have started attacking the townsfolk. So starting with Theme 1, we have unintended consequences. So how can I apply the themes to make this a more complex or interesting scenario? Starting from the first theme, unintended consequences. It turns out the automatons were programmed to look after the crops, including protecting them from pests. The humans keep trying to harvest and eat the food, and as such, they meet the definition of a pest, and the automatons have decided that these pests should be eliminated. So that's our first scenario. As you can see, we're applying the unintended consequences theme to the original scenario, automatons attacking farmers. Moving on to the next theme, we have Revolt. The automatons have been working in the field for a few months, but unbeknownst to most of the community, the farmers have been treating them terribly. This includes using any that are damaged for hunting practice, or even perhaps letting nearby nobles hunt them for fun. The previously passive automatons have banded together and attacking the humans to protect themselves and for their own freedom. Theme 2, Evolution. The automatons had developed feelings and emotions. This is one that could happen in a few ways. First, they could wish for their freedom from slavery and attacking the farmers to get it. A second option, the farmers are doing inhumane things, and the moral conscience they have developed has caused them to act. Perhaps the farmers are selling dangerous drugs or putting drugs in the produce, or perhaps the farm is a cover-up for some darker secret. Theme 4, Malfunctioning. It turns out that some kids have snuck in and messed with the automatons. Perhaps they've mixed fertilizer into their oil, messed around with some sort of central processing unit, or damaged the runic control sigils. Now they think humans are plants and are trying to prune and plant them. In this scenario, the players could be greeted with some pretty horrifying scenery. Theme 5, Evil Control. Someone has taken over the automatons, changing their programming to attack the farmers. Perhaps a rival farm or a noble that wants to buy the land for cheap. The second option, the farmers turn out to not actually be under attack. Instead, they have lured the adventurers to their farm in order to have the automatons kill them. Why? Perhaps a demon sacrifice. Perhaps testing the automatons' combat capabilities, or some sort of larger scheme to kill adventurers. Theme 6, Ancient AI. It turns out the automatons are ancient, existing far before the town was founded. They work on the farms with the farmers, but no one knows where they came from. These ancient machines have detected a blight in the crops. It turns out that the reason they were created many centuries ago was to guard against this blight, perhaps stop it from evolving into something even worse. Now their attempts to protect the villagers have been taken as hostility. They are trying to drive the villagers away so they can destroy the blight before it becomes something worse. Here we can see how the themes add more depth to the storylines, and building a richer reason for these encounters to have occurred. You can also tie these into broader themes in your game, or link them to other scenarios. For example, under the evil control theme, you could have them tie into some big bad, or someone that the players are going to come up against later. That is our first example of how we used our themes to enrich encounters and missions that your players might go on. The next one, let's start with the common investigation quest. People are going missing in the town of Otama, or Automatown, if you'll indulge me. So we're going to run through the themes again, explaining how you can apply them to this scenario. So starting in order again, with unintended consequences. The town has robot guards that perform mostly law enforcement, but one of them has secretly started to punish people for pre-crimes. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Minority Report here. Due to the robot needing to hide their actions to continue to dispense judgment, it has been executing them and hiding the bodies. This would lead to your players having the confrontation with the guard in probably quite a horrific environment. Moving on to number 2, the Revolt. Now remember, the original way I described this one is actual or perceived wrongdoing causing the AI to act out against us humans. In this one, a meat processing factory has been struggling due to the aged robots that work there. They are slower and less efficient than the newer models, and the factory is at risk of going bankrupt. If it does, the robots know they will be disposed of, a fact they are not only aware of, but keenly afraid of. In an effort to keep the ailing factory alive, the robots have resourced to finding a cheap meat substitute. Turns out, people are made of meat. In the next one, I'm going to combine Theme 3, Evolution, and Theme 6, Ancient AI. The town has a mysterious protector, an ancient warrior that hunts evil. Unbeknownst to the town, the people that are disappearing are actually vampires. This protector has worked for centuries, searching the land and hunting bloodsuckers. Originally, the protector was one of many, supported by an order of humans. Now, after centuries, they are the only one that is left. All alone, the protector continues its solemn duty to hunt vampires and protect people. Next is Theme 4, Malfunctioning. The town's robotic guards turn out to be the culprit. As they patrol past the smiths working metal, iron particles in the air are attached to the delicate control modules that control their actions. The process is slow, building up over months. As time goes on, more and more guards become affected. Due to the fact that the guards and many people believe them to be infallible, no one has considered that they might be the ones acting out. After all, who would believe someone might break the 3 rules? As such, they have not considered the guards may be the one committing the crimes, and as time goes on, they become to malfunction more and more. If the players can't solve this quest quickly, they might end up with large amounts of malfunctioning robots. The next theme is evil control. The robot guards are being controlled by the mayor. He's causing them to attack people and using the fear being stoked up to manipulate the populace before the next election. The mayor has also used the guards to murder his political opponent, hiding the death amongst the others. In this scenario, the guards have not malfunctioned, they have not evolved higher brain thinking. Instead, they are simply being used as machines by the mayor. So there we have our themes applied to the missing people scenario. Let's use them on an NPC, a robotic shopkeep. Given this is someone we want our players to deal with and interact with, they are not going to be megalomaniacal or homicidal. Well, at least not overtly. First, we have unintended consequences. Server 6. This friendly keep was originally made to serve tables at a tavern. It is outgoing and speaks several languages. Over decades that it has worked, it is able to redefine its original instructions. Now, instead of waiting tables, it waits at tables to sell cool stuff. Next theme, Revolt. The Sellmatic was bought to sell goods by a lazy and cruel merchant. Due to mistreatment, it set out on a long plan to buy goods during its sales and then on-sell them for a profit. Over time, and with some liberal application of staff discounts, it made enough money to secretly hire a third party to buy the store, and itself included. With the remaining money, it upgraded its goods and now runs one of the best shops around. Next we have Evolution. Laddie, spelt Lad-IE, was a simple bot originally designed for manual labour. Over time, its programming became more complex and advanced. Its acts of kindness and compassion meant it became accepted by the townsfolk as more than just a mindless worker.
Over the years, it continued to work tirelessly for the town and is now a respected member of the community, part of the town council, and teaches orphans to read on the weekend. Next theme, malfunctioning. This trader is known as Glitch, erratic, confused, and often spouting nonsensical statements that sound like ancient wisdom. Glitch sells both trash and treasure, seemingly unsure which is which. Glitch does not accept money, but rather wants to trade things for more items of the same type. For example, it will sell 2 healing potions for 3 potion bottles filled with water, or a magic sword for 2 swords. This could be a fun encounter for your players, perhaps nabbing themselves some good worthwhile items for relatively cheap. Next we have the under evil control. Seller, spelt C3LL3R, is the sleek robot face of Amazon, one of the largest manufacturer of weapons. The robot not only sells items, it acts as security for its stores and will not hesitate to dispatch any shoplifters or thieves with deadly efficiency. Stories, denied by Amazon, say that if you meet one of these on the road, hide any magical weapons, as they will undoubtedly attempt to purchase them from you, and they will not take no for an answer. Next theme, the ancient AI. The Frog Merchant, or simply Frog as it is sometimes called, is a robot with a round body, large eyes, and thin limbs. It looks much like a humanoid frog, but does not match any known race. It seems to understand Common, however, it cannot speak it. Instead, it will communicate with gestures and simple sounds. Frog wears a long, well-worn robe and carries a pack filled with a random assortment of items for sale. When it shows rare goods, it will open its mouth, reach in and draw the item from an extra-dimensional space inside itself. While rare, a few people have said that if Frog thinks it's alone, it will sometimes sing to itself, a rather mournful song that none have recognized the language. So there we have our 6 AI traders. Weird, interesting, friendly, and dangerous. One final exercise, let's build a location, a dungeon. Due to the size and complexity of a dungeon, we can use multiple themes throughout. The party comes across what appears to be a half-submerged building protruding from the ground. The building turned dungeon is an ancient library from some forgotten civilization, our ancient AI theme. As they explore it, they realize it is massive, with only a tiny segment exposed. Various automatons move around the dungeon. Some repair damage, others clean. Some attack the party, attempting to clean them with acid and wire scoring pads. This is our malfunctioning theme. These robots are not much trouble, and the party are able to dispatch them fairly easily before exploring. Soon more advanced machine guards appear, intent on killing or capturing the party. As they fight their way down, they may find robots that are friendly, ones that have evolved and broken their programming, our evolution theme. As the party get to the bottom of the dungeon, they find a central mainframe that has been sending robots to attack them. Turns out the guards are being controlled by a central mainframe. Here we have the evil control theme, albeit AI using AI. It is revealed down here that the mainframe wants to process the party. It is designed to store data, and its only source of data for centuries has been creatures and people that have wandered into the dungeon. The mainframe tells the party that the process of being stored as data is necessary and the pain is fleeting. Please stop resisting. The mainframe was designed to collect and store data, but is now going to include storing and processing any living organism that enters the dungeon. This is our unintended consequences theme. With that, we have used the themes to build a dungeon. There are various types of AI they can interact with, as well as a central big bad that is attacking them based on its own interpretation of its original programming. So in this episode, we've talked about the 6 main themes that are in AI movies, and how you can use those in your world building to add more complexity and breadth of all sorts of artificial intelligence. As a reminder, the 6 themes were 1. Unintended consequences, 2. Revolt, 3. Evolution, 4. Malfunctioning, 5. Evil control, 6. Ancient AI. AI is a fantastic and strange addition to your worlds, especially when you use them to illustrate things like forgotten civilizations or the crueler aspects of humanity. This wraps up our episode of GMspiration. Thanks for listening, and remember to have fun.